That's our 2000 S2000 right there. This is a 2000 S2000 with 7,516 miles on it. So not as low mileage as the S2000 CR that we just had in, but 7,500 miles for a 2000 S2000 is pretty darn low. It's probably one of the lowest ones we have had. So it's here for basic maintenance, as well as a couple of other things we'll show you along the way. Let's get this one in the shop.
All right, this project is for today, tomorrow, and the next day. This is just a bunch of little maintenance stuff because the car has a lot of miles. It only has 7,500 miles, and it is an absolutely flawless example. I mean, it has clear markers and it's missing the S2000 badge, but it's not because it's been repainted. I think they just wanted a custom look. Other than that, the car is absolutely perfect. It's an early model, still has a plastic window, but the plastic window top is absolutely flawless. So yeah, like I said, it's here for maintenance stuff, brakes, and coilovers. This guy wants to have a little fun with it. He's not concerned that it has 7,500 miles. He is going to modify it. Not crazy, but just a little bit so that he can have fun with it. So this is the list: doing oil, transmission fluid, diff fluid, brake fluid, clutch fluid. The foam on the shifter, we're going to pull it up and see if it's still in good shape or not. This car has obviously been garaged its whole life, so it may still be in good shape. Probably not. Foam does disintegrate with age, but if, like I said, if it was in a climate-controlled unit its whole life, then it's probably still fine. He's bought a radio and speakers, which I haven't looked at yet. We're doing a UK mod, airbox mod, and a brake package with red powder-coated calipers. So while we're right here, I'm going to go ahead and look at this radio we bought. So we bought it from Crutchfield, which if you ever buy a radio for something, if you're not 100% sure, and you go to Crutchfield, this obviously is not an ad for Crutchfield, but if you go there, they will have everything you need. If you buy a radio and speakers, they will usually give you every bit of install stuff with it. They'll just give it to you. And also, they have a customer handbook here. And for the most part, stuff like this is usually tailored to your car. I don't know about this one because I've never got the handbook, but I have bought plenty of radios from them before. So it looks like this might just be a generic little magazine. So it looks like we've got some Infinity reference speakers for the doors. Infinity makes a great product for door speakers. Got a wiring harness. Which one's this? It almost looks like, oh, that's just the door speaker adapters. We've got a built harness with the box for the steering wheel controls. So that's perfect. Looks like we have a JVC receiver. Which one we got here? The KDX 480 BHS digital multimedia receiver with Bluetooth, Alexa, iPhone, Sirius, all this stuff. Edible packing material here, which I won't eat for you on camera, but it is made out of corn and does disintegrate, so you can eat that if you wanted to. So, looks like some pretty good products. Ready-made harnesses. That'll be a nice and easy install. Just drained the trans and I forgot to record it. If you could just imagine like really clear transmission fluid coming out of there, that's what it looked like. So I'm gonna drain the diff now and I will record that one. But if you look at that there, this has got to be the original diff fluid in this car. I would suggest you do this, you know, whether you're driving the car or not. So I would like to say every 3 months, do your engine oil, even if you're not driving it. Just because it does break down, it does collect moisture. So stay on top of your fluids and everything will be happier for a lot longer. Oh no, it's splashing. I gotta get this off here. I'm making a mess. There it is. It's got kind of a metallic-y color to it, but like I said, it's the original. So there's the plug there. Nothing major, no big pieces or anything. You'll get stuff on your plug regardless. Every diff we'll get a little bit of something on it. So, and I've got to clean the drips off of there too. But we'll get this fluid changed out, get this cleaned up. All right, we're gonna be doing airbox mods, so I'm starting to take the airbox out, and this is the telltale sign of a low mileage car. When there is dog food in the airbox. That just means that a little critter has been in here and they brought some food with them so they wouldn't have to leave for a little while. Hopefully that critter's not in there somewhere, and we'll get this airbox modified. The airbox is modded, new K&N filter. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid back on that and we can check that one off the list. So I'm gonna pull the center console out and we're gonna see if age has had its toll on that shifter foam. Let's see if I can get it out one-handed. We'll look at it together. My shirt's caught on it. Right. That shifter foam still looks to be in one piece. You can see a little bit of action going on there. So let's take the center console. I'll stick it on my lap real quick. And let's look at it. Oh, no, it's definitely gonna fall apart. It still looks like it's in one piece, so this one could fool you, but it's definitely gonna be bad. So we're gonna go and get that taken out and get a new one put in. I'm gonna have to finish up by vacuuming that out. That's what I could get out of the car. Definitely in bad shape, but everything else in here is in great shape, so we'll get that new foam in. All right, new foam is in. Go ahead and snap the console back down, put the shift knob back on, and we're done here. All right, so he's brought that radio that I showed you earlier to replace the factory head unit. I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the radio. If you're gonna do any interior work on a car, get yourself some plastic tools. These things are great for doing interior work. They don't mar anything up, they don't leave any marks. Make it so that no one knows you were here. That's the best way to do it. So let me get this trim out, get this radio out, we'll get the other one in, make sure it all works, then we'll do the door speakers. All right, factory radio's out, doors out. We have to make one connection. We have to tap into one of these wires here to make the steering wheel controls work. Before I solder it and make it completely permanent, I'm gonna get everything tied together, plugged in, make sure everything works, and then we'll solder that up, get everything finished, and put it all back together. All right, I don't have the antenna hooked up, so all we have is white noise. We have our steering wheel control box hooked up, tapped into that wire, and our radio is on, and when we press the button over there, this turns up and down. So our factory controls work, and then when you press the mode, you get your different sources to cycle through. So it's working as it should. Now we'll make that connection there permanent, get all this tied up and put into the dash. Radio's in. I changed the color of the buttons to like a amber color that kind of matches what's going on in the car. I believe these have mostly white, aren't they? I think these might be slightly amber. Kind of hard to tell in the daytime. But I set that to like an amber with white because the gauge cluster I believe is like amber and white. We gotta snap the lid back on, and there's a little surround trim ring there that we can put in, and everything's good to go. Steering wheel controls work over here. We got our volume and our mode. We can go AM, Bluetooth, auxiliary, and back to FM. So all is good, all is working. Door closes. It actually fits really well. If you are wondering, it's a JVC KD-X480BHS, and doesn't even touch the door. I know some of them, when you put them in there, the aftermarket radios touch the door and whatnot. This one does not. Steering wheel controls work. If you want to do it yourself, I had to order it from Crutchfield because everything comes ready to go. All I had to do was connect one wire for the steering wheel controls, and it was ready to go. So let's get to the doors. All right, we've got the factory door speakers out, still in great condition. I took the factory basket out in case it needs to be modified. This speaker may be too deep to go in there. We don't know yet. We're just now unboxing these, the Infinity Reference REF-6532EXs. This is a coaxial speaker, which means it has the tweeter built in. Let me get these out of the foam and get it unwrapped, and we'll see if it fits in the basket. It's almost too bad we won't be using this grill. This is a really fancy looking grill. So that will stay over there. Here's the speaker. It doesn't look to be a whole lot deeper than the factory one. That should go right in that basket with no modifications. And the good thing about this is when you order from Crutchfield, they know your basket. They know how deep your speaker is. They know the size of everything. So if you order it from them and it says it takes no modifications, it shouldn't take any modifications. So I'm gonna make sure these fit into these screws. There's 4 separate screws here. We'll get these fit into the car. There's the driver's door complete. Like I said, just drilled some holes in the brackets, screw the brackets back to the door. Everything fits tight. That's what you want. You want everything to fit tight. If it's loose at all or has any gaps, then it will make noise that you don't want. So make sure everything's tight and you'll be good to go. Let me get this door panel back on and then we'll finish the passenger side and on to something else. All right, I unboxed the coilovers. Time to get my measurements out and set these things up. They do not come at a correct ride height in the box. You have to adjust them. They're loose in the box. Some coilovers do come preset, these ones do not. So let me get these adjusted and we'll start taking the car apart. All right, they may not look any different, but there's a preliminary adjustment set on them. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted by the music across the street. I don't know if you can even hear it, maybe you can't. But these are all pre-adjusted now. Hopefully they're close and I'll get them in the car.